At the moment there's a very bad dose of flu going around, which is the Australian flu. It's extremely sickening. Everybody seems to be getting it everywhere, and it doesn't seem to matter whether they've been inoculated or anything. It's striking everyone down. I've had it myself. It's pretty bad. Still have it. Haven't lost it, but it's not as bad as it was. But there was an interesting remedy I discovered, which I thought I'd test out while I had the flu, and it did work. And it was initially, believe it or not, it's to do with putting potatoes in your socks. And so what you do is, you take a potato like this, and you cut it like that. Put it like that. So it's kind of a thin strip. This one looks better. And do it again, like that. And originally you wouldn't be using a potato this big. Originally they were doing it for babies. It's a folk remedy. But what they would do is, if a baby had a fever or something like that, you put it into the baby's sock under the sole, and apparently the potatoes would turn black as whatever the bug or fever itself would have an effect on the potato, but it would actually calm the baby down, reduce the temperature, and the fever would subside. Now, out of desperation, I decided to try this myself because I was so sick, and I got really big potatoes like these and put them into the socks of my shoes, or the socks. I was wearing really big socks, you know, because my feet were freezing, because that's what happens, you feel really cold. Anyway, the next morning, within seconds of actually trying it, I felt relief. And the next morning when I got up, I found that potatoes were actually black, almost black, grey and black here and there, just like it had been described in the remedies. But this could have been caused just by proximity to human skin, not necessarily the bug. So then I decided, I tried it again the next day. And it kept working. I changed the potato, got a new one, cut a slice, put it into the socks, and as each day went by, it turned less and less black, and on the last day there was actually no discoloration of the potato at all, so it wasn't human skin that was causing the discoloration. And the interesting thing about it is, when I first tried it, and it worked almost immediately. It had a calming effect on the flu, which was at the most intense point. But after I tried it, I said, well, I better see if it wasn't just a coincidence and maybe I just felt better for some other reason. So I did it the exact same way the next morning. I cut a potato, but it worked again, but it took about 15 minutes before it actually started to help that time, and I felt really bad in the morning. But I had taken Lemsip, which has paracetamol in it. I decided I'd test Lemsip because maybe Lemsip was interfering, and maybe it was Lemsip producing the results. So the next time I didn't take any Lemsip, or the first time I took Lemsip to see would that work, and I didn't use the potatoes, and I didn't feel too good. The Lemsip worked a little bit, but not great. Second time, then after another few hours had passed, I decided I'd just try the potatoes, and I tried the potatoes, and yes, they actually worked without the Lemsip. So it's a strange remedy, but if you are very sick, try it. I don't know why it works. I think it may need to be tested. Maybe there's a chemical in the potato. Maybe it's acting as a poultice, drawing the fever, or you don't necessarily have a fever, but it draws the bug into it. Why it changes black, I don't know. It could be a particularly strong chemical that's in your body when you're sick that's reacting with the potato. I don't know about that either. I think it should be something that pharmaceutical companies should be looking into. I think certainly folk remedies often have there's often wisdom in there, kind of scientific wisdom, which we're not aware of. We seem to notice it when it's tribes in the Amazon or something. If they know there's a plant that's a remedy, you'll have universities going out to find the plant. But if it's in our own countries, in Europe or in America or wherever like that, we tend to dismiss it, which isn't a good idea. Now, the interesting thing about folk remedies for the potato is the potato's only been in Europe for 400 years, or just over 400 years. It seems to have arrived in Ireland in casks that were kept on Spanish Armada ships that were actually washed up after the Armada was destroyed, and they were destroyed in storms, and the casks seem to have washed up. It suggests that they were eating them raw, the Spanish sailors. Irish people, even up until quite recently, there are people alive today who would eat raw potato. I have done it myself, and I don't think, not particularly bad, just not particularly easy to digest, and not as nice as frying them or cooking them, making them into chips. But it's interesting to think of them being used in another way, which is as a remedy. And it just suggests anybody who's sick, if you're desperate, try it. Just put it into the soles of your socks. I even walked on them a little bit, which isn't a good idea, but just try it and you'll be amazed. Actually, you'll feel relief quite quickly. I don't know why it works. Like I say, I think it's something that needs to be studied. But just for the week that's in it,